Good morning. Today we are starting with chapter 16, digestion and absorption. We know that food is the basic requirement of all organisms, and the various components of food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. And there are different functions they are performed by different these components of the food, like energy giving food, growth and repair of tissues. Then water also plays an important role in metabolic processes. There are various macromolecules in food which cannot be utilized by body in their original form, so they have to be broken down into simpler substances. That is through our digestive system. And this process of conversion of complex food molecules to simple absorbable forms is called as digestion, and it is carried out by our digestive system through mechanical and biochemical methods. So in this chapter we'll be dealing with the digestive system of human beings. Human digestive system consists of alimentary canal and associated glands. So in this chapter we'll be dealing with all these topics: human digestive system, alimentary canal, digestive glands, digestion of food, absorption of digested food products, and disorders of digestive system. So let's begin with the human digestive system, which consists of alimentary canal and the associated glands. So let's talk about alimentary canal first. Now, alimentary canal, it begins with an anterior opening which is called as the mouth, and it opens out and it is ended up at the anus. So the mouth leads to the buccal cavity. So first part is the buccal cavity. In the buccal cavity, it is also called as the oral cavity also. It has teeth and muscular tongue, and the teeth is associated with the socket of jaw bones, and this type of attachment is called as thecodont. So what is thecodont? Here the teeth are embedded in the socket of jaw bone, and this attachment is called as thecodont. So mammals or human beings, they have two sets of teeth in their life: a set of temporary milk, or these are called as temporary milk or deciduous teeth, and they are replaced by a set of permanent or adult teeth. This type of dentition is called as diphyodont. So what is diphyodont? These are the two sets of teeth which are during the lifetime they are present. So a set of temporary as well as permanent later on, they are being replaced by permanent. So this condition is called as diphyodont. So an adult human has 32 permanent teeth, which have 4 different types, which are called as heterodont. They are called as heterodont. Let's see the next slide for the diagram of the teeth. So you can see here the diagram of the teeth. Now here there are 32 permanent teeth and they have 4 different types. So that is called as heterodont dentition. So what do you mean by heterodont dentition? The different types of teeth they are present. So these are incisors. You can see here the position of the incisors, canines, premolars and molars. And this arrangement of the teeth in the upper and the lower jaw, they are in the order of 2, 1, 2, 3 by 2, 1, 2, 3, which is a dental formula which is called as. And the hard chewing surface of the teeth, which they are made up of, that is called as enamel. That helps in the mastication of the food. The tongue is a freely movable muscular organ which is attached to the floor of the oral cavity by frenulum. So what is frenulum? Just a second. So let's continue with the human digestive system. We have discussed the structure of the teeth which are present in the human oral cavity. So let's continue with the next part, which is called as the tongue. So the tongue is a freely movable muscular organ which is attached to the floor of the oral cavity with a structure that is called as frenulum. So the upper surface of the tongue has very small projections which are called as papillae, and these bear the taste buds. So oral cavity leads into a short pharynx. You can see here the structure, that is pharynx. Pharynx, it serves as a common passage for the food and air. Then comes the esophagus. Esophagus and the trachea or the windpipe, they open into the pharynx. So the cartilaginous flap, which is called as epiglottis. So epiglottis is a structure which a small membranous structure. It prevents the entry of food into the glottis, that is the opening of the windpipe during swallowing. So next part is the esophagus. It is a thin long tube which extends through the neck and thorax and diaphragm and leads to the J-shaped structure which is called as stomach. A muscular sphincter which is called as the gastroesophageal sphincter, which regulates the opening of the esophagus into the stomach, which is present here. So this sphincter is present here. So the stomach, which is located in the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity, it has four major parts. That is, you can see here the structure of the stomach. So a cardiac portion into which the esophagus opens. This is the cardiac part. Then a fundic region. You can see here fundus. A fundic region, the body which is the main central part, and the pyloric. Pyloric portion which opens into the first part of the small intestine. This is the first part of the small intestine, duodenum. So small intestine is distinguishable into three regions, which is a C-shaped duodenum, a long coiled middle portion called jejunum, and highly coiled, which is called as ileum. Now let's talk about the small intestine. The opening of the stomach into the duodenum. When the stomach opens into the duodenum, it is guarded by the pyloric sphincter. So ileum, it opens into the large intestine, and it consists of cecum, colon and rectum. So these are the three parts of the large intestine. Cecum is a small blind sac which hosts microorganisms, symbiotic microorganisms, and a narrow finger-like tubular projections that is called as vermiform appendix, which is a vestigial organ which arises from the cecum. So the cecum opens into the colon. The colon part, you can see here the sigmoid colon part. This is the transverse, ascending colon, transverse, and the descending colon. The colon is divided into four parts: an ascending, a transverse, a descending, and a sigmoid part. So the descending part opens into the rectum, which opens it through the anus. So the wall of the alimentary canal or the esophagus, that is esophagus to the rectum, it possesses four layers. You can see here in the diagram, these are the four layers which are present in the wall of the esophagus till the rectum. So these are mainly serosa, muscularis, submucosa, mucosa, and the lumen is the cavity. So serosa, that is the outermost layer and is made up of thin mesothelium, that is epithelium of the visceral organs, with some connective tissues. Muscularis, muscularis is we can say it is smooth muscles which are arranged into an inner circular and they are arranged into an inner circular and an outer longitudinal layer. Inner and the outer circular and longitudinal layer of the muscle fibers. So an oblique muscle layer may be present in some regions, and the submucosa. The submucosal layer is formed of the loose connective tissues which contain nerves, blood, lymph vessels, etc. So in duodenum, the glands are also present in the submucosa, and the innermost layer lining the lumen of the alimentary canal is the mucosa. So this layer is called as the mucosa. So this layer forms the irregular folds which are called as rugae in the stomach, and smaller finger-like foldings which are called as villi. You can see here the structure of the villi. Now these villi in the small intestine, the cells lining the villi, they produce numerous microscopic projections which are called as microvilli. And these microvilli, they give a brush border appearance, and these increase the surface area for absorption. So they are supplied with a network of capillaries and a large lymph vessel which is called as lacteal. You can see here the lacteal, it's the largest lymph vessel which is called as the lacteal. So mucosal epithelium, it has goblet cells also. Now goblet cells, what are goblet cells? They secrete mucus which helps in the lubrication. So mucosa also forms the glands in the stomach which are called as the gastric glands, and crypts in between the bases of the villi in the intestine which are called as crypts of Labercuhen. So all these four layers, they show modifications in different parts of the alimentary canal. Now let's talk about digestive glands. The digestive glands which are associated with the alimentary canal, these are the salivary glands, liver and the pancreas. Saliva, we know it's a main produced by the three parts of the salivary glands. These are parotids, submaxillary, submandibular, which are the lower jaw, and the sublinguals, which is below the tongue. So these glands are situated just outside the buccal cavity, and they secrete the salivary juice into the buccal cavity. Liver, we can here liver, the position of the liver is here. So the liver is the largest gland of the body, which weighs about 1.2 to 1.5 kilogram in an adult human, and it is situated in the abdominal cavity just below the diaphragm, and it has two lobes. The hepatic lobules are the structural and the functional unit of liver, which contain hepatic cells and which are arranged in the form of the cord. So each lobule is covered by a thin connective tissue sheath which is called as glycans, capsule. And the bile, which is secreted by the hepatic cell, passes through the hepatic ducts. You can see here hepatic ducts. So these hepatic ducts, they carry the bile, and this passes through hepatic ducts, and they are stored and concentrated in a thin muscular sac which is called as gallbladder. See the position of the gallbladder. So the ducts of the gallbladder, these are cystic duct, which is coming from the gallbladder. It is the cystic duct, which is along with the hepatic duct, which is coming from the liver. They form the common bile duct. So this is a common bile duct. One is coming from gallbladder, one is coming from liver, and that forms the common bile duct. And the bile duct and the pancreatic duct, they open into the duodenum. So one duct is coming from pancreas also, one is coming from the liver, and they are opening into the duodenum. This is the common hepatopancreatic duct. This is called as hepatopancreatic duct. Hepato, which is coming from liver, and pancreatic, which is coming from pancreas. So this is hepatopancreatic duct, which is opening into the duodenum. Now this hepatopancreatic duct is also guarded by the sphincter, which is called as sphincter of Oddi. So here also sphincter muscles are there, which are called as sphincter of Oddi. The pancreas is composed of both exocrine and endocrine organ, and is situated between the limbs of the C-shaped duodenum, and exocrine portion secretes the pancreatic juice, which contains enzymes, and it is alkaline in nature, and the endocrine portion, it secretes hormones, insulin and glucagon.